He's a lifetime commercial fisherman, and he jumps into the band when they let him, and now we have the pleasure of hearing some more of his talent. So please welcome Scott McAllister from Juneau.
Yo! Yes, thank you. So good to be here, and it's nice to see all your beautiful fish-loving faces. Being a fisherman my entire life, it means a lot to have people that appreciate what it is we do. I'm a native Oregonian. I was raised in Portland. When I graduated from high school, I went to Alaska and never came back until recent years. And in reconnecting, hello, yo, yeah, all right. I have a story to tell. Thank you. Anyway, after reconnecting down here, it's been a ride. And being an Alaskan and in tune with the challenges we face in Bristol Bay, and coming back here to Oregon and experiencing Astoria 40 years, 50 years on from when I was a child being raised, coming here in the gill nets, the Columbia, the canneries, the cannery workers, the tuna boats, the high seas tuna boats coming back to deliver their tuna here. It's been quite a change. But anyway, after watching The Wild, which I recommend everybody see if you care about Bristol Bay, it's a wonderful production debuting here in Astoria this weekend. I wrote this down. This first one is called, you see that river out there? Look at it. I mean, right now it's framed in timbered hills and cumulus clouds. It's a beautiful place. But the Columbia was once the Bristol Bay run of fish times 10. Today it is a faint shadow of its once greatness. Consider this. Bristol Bay averages 40 million red salmon per year. High side, it goes 60 million. That's total return. That's not harvest. That's total return. And then you add all the kings, cohos, chums, and humpies that run alongside them. You do the math. What was the Columbia? Don't let them fool you. If Pebble is allowed to dig the first hole, it's the beginning of the end. The shadow will grow. If shadows take the bay, we will all be in darkness. That's my first poem. Okay. Most of you probably know about a little bit of history, Celilo Falls. There is a Sahaptin native word, Wyam, W-Y-A-M, that goes with Celilo Falls. And there was a settlement, the native settlement fishing on the south side of the river on the Oregon side was called Wyam. This is called the Ballad of Wyam. Wyam, Celilo, oh Celilo, drowned down so deep, oh Celilo. The sound of water falling on rocks, echoing between great walls, the Dalles' constant roar, buried by a dam. Celilo was drowned, Wyam no more. I think sometimes back, way back, how it once was or how it could be, the Columbian Empire, nomadic and free, the mighty river wild, on to the sea. Through the mist of her falls, rainbows in the sun, Wyam at the crossroads. From afar they did come, to fish, gamble, barter, and trade, the Mecca on the river where pemmicans made. The wealth of her people, her king of salmon swarm, heading home to their headwaters from where they were born. It's May on the river, the waters running high. Salmon surge upstream and down flood their fry. As the men of Wyam, Sahaptin, Chinook, and Salish dip from her banks on planks of wood, scaffolds of fish dry, fresh from the sea, and the scent of Chinook wakes on the breeze. Then came furmen from the east to trade at Celilo on the river, the Indian way. The years wore on, up a new empire sprang. They harnessed the river to never be the same. One dam at a time from Grand Coulee on down, the river backed up for the progress of man. When they closed Dow's gate, Celilo was buried. Gone were then the men of Wyam. Celilo, oh Celilo, drowned so deep, oh Celilo. Oh, wait a minute here, let me get the right one. Okay, this one was inspired by a June hog or facsimile thereof, caught in my seine in a very special place that was only open for seine fishing once in my career in Alaska. This one's called The Last Wild King. On a dreary rain-soaked sea in the slot between Wooden Island and Omini, an old man's arm ached. It had been a long, hard fight. His rod bent to the fullest of its strain. The fish rolled to the surface as his skiff rolled port. Oh my! Exhausting a stressed breath of excitement, old memories flooded his thoughts as if they were yesterday. Big fish had been plentiful, wild and free, and capture had always inspired ponder of distant waters from where they were spawned or where they had swum. Headwaters so distant, the Alsek, Taku, Nass, Skeena, Fraser, Columbia, the Snake and Trask, and so many other stream-inspired dreams. The fish reared in waters shed from mountain valleys and inland plateaus where streams meander between intact riparian, grassy banks, willows and cottonwoods for shade, loose gravel on her runs, beavers ponding in braided flood channels where otter, mink, and muskrat mingle, rimmed by grass prairies and tall forests. Then smolting to the sea with spring rush of waters, down falls and rapids, rearing in backwaters and sloughs. This king, one of the lucky few. Then over the horizon, out to sea, where big eats little, plankton's phyto and zoo, fishes, sardines, squid, anchovy, and herring, all feeding and growing. Eat and be eaten. Oh my, look at this guy, he thinks. Big and silver, purple his hue, scales set. The old man looks into the king's eye. 60 pounds or more, wild at fry. Is this really one? How can it be? One of the last ones? Oh no. The last wild king. Just he and me. This one's really quick. We all think it, or we don't say it. Hot off the grill, a light golden brown, medium well done with light smoke and dill. Or served raw and cold, minced with herbs, soft, succulent, savory, and of the sea, belly of King Tartar. And on the side, a light slaw, mango and wine. Eating the last wild one. Go ahead, think it, but don't say it. You'll ruin my fun. I'm going to ask John Lee up here now. And this is a song he inspired me to write, and so he's helping me tonight. Gotta make sure I got no lint from my pocket here. Okay. This one's called The Men of Wyam. Oh, take me back to a simpler time, where the waters flow, why am no more, where the salmon swarm and men on planks dip from her banks, the great men of YM. Roll on, Columbia, roll on, Columbia, roll on. Here salmon swan. From the east they came for men to trade. Crossroads at the river, they bartered, gambled, and stayed. Then they built the dam, the pride of modern man. Buried YM, no men of YM. Roll on, Columbia, roll. Roll on, Columbia, roll on. So take me back to the simpler time. All right. So take me back to that simpler time. The great men of YM. I'm a poet, not a musician. Thank you, John.
That's what we do when we forget a word. We just keep playing a harmonica.
I just play the harmonica.
What's your name?
Clifford Lee.
All right, and are you a poet?
Not as well as I wish, but yeah, I'm part of that.
Okay. How long have you been attending the Fisher Poets Gathering?
Since the gap variants, 1980.
Well, what are your highlights?
Oh, I play music for Pink Floyd, from Led Zeppelin recordings.
Great. It sounds wonderful. Any thoughts? Anything to share if somebody had never been there and they're just thinking, I wonder if I should go? I mean, what would you say?
Well, it's like that. It's so much nonprofit, but then there's the Hindenburg, and it brings so much of the future back, to the past, and it helps a lot.
Are you a fisherman?
Well, it used to be. Yeah, it got pretty wet out there. There was a lot of people out there, but not a problem. Just a long, cold winter. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.